Who is Inarius? Who is Lilith? And why don't they just get a divorce? Okay, so it is very safe to assume that yes, Diablo 4's trailer at the Game Awards really blew me away because, first of all, nobody does this better than Blizzard when it comes to the CGI trailers. This was one of the most epic things that I've ever seen. And secondly, I am super excited for the story now because I have no idea where the direction of this story is taking the franchises, and I am all for it. If you know, you know. In a million years, I have never expected Inarius to show up in the flesh, actually going up against Lilith in the bowels of hell itself. I really hope this is not a previous scene from some bygone age, but this is actually a continuation and is set in the present, because I want to see the culmination of that entire story between Lilith and Inarius come to a head in Diablo 4. Now, why is Inarius still in his angel form is a question that the game will have to answer itself, because we do have Izual, who was supposed to be an angel but then was tormented in hell for like a millennium or something, and he ended up turning into a demon. And Inarius was basically in the same boat as Izual, so why is he still an angel? I think that is a question that the game will have to answer itself when it comes out, and I'm very excited about it. Now, with that said, I thought this would be a perfect opportunity for me to actually go into a little brief detail, I should say, about who Inarius and Lilith is, because I was watching this trailer with my family and some friends, and they pretty much had no idea who this angel guy was. Everybody was saying he was Tyrael, and I was like, no man, that's Inarius, and they were looking at me like I was stupid crazy or something. So I thought, why not make a video and briefly explain who Inarius and Lilith is, and why is Diablo 4 turning out to be a story about a divorce. Now, to understand who Inarius and Lilith is, we're going to have to look at a lore book from the Diablo universe that came out way back in 2012, around the time of Diablo 3. And this book, I have to say, was written with great care and love for the Diablo series. It is supposed to be a relic from the hand of one of the greatest NPCs in any game of all time. And yes, I love this book because Blizzard did a very good job when they came out with this thing, and I'm proud to own it. Yes, I'm talking about the Book of Cain. Now, the Book of Cain is supposed to be an in-world book written by none other than Deckard Cain himself, and this is supposed to be a compendium of knowledge about the history and cultures and everything that is related to the world of Diablo known as Sanctuary. And obviously, in this book, we have a chapter called Sanctuary, the Mortal Realms, Inarius and the World Stone, and right there is our boy and our girl in a not-so-platonic embrace, I have to say. And in this chapter, it is explained where the world of Sanctuary comes from, and more importantly, where exactly humans come from in a universe where only angels and demons have existed up until this point. Spoilers alert. Now, please note that I will be only focusing on Inarius and Lilith and the relationship between these two. There's a whole lot of stuff that goes on, but I think because these two are shown in the trailer, they are more like the most important things right now. Someone might just assume that he's an angel, she's a demon, that's why they both are fighting something to do with good and evil, but that's not the case. It goes way deeper than that, and we're gonna get into it right now. Now, as the legend goes, the high heavens and the burning hells have been locked in this endless war known conveniently as the eternal conflict for time immemorial, with no side holding sway for too long, and the objective of their constant war is the control of this very powerful object known as the World Stone. The World Stone is an object in the universe of Diablo. It has its entire history itself. We're not gonna get into that. Maybe we'll do that in another video some other day, but suffice it to say, no side is able to hold sway for far too long. When the high heavens win, they eventually have to pull back because the burning hells come knocking at the door, and vice versa. And this has been going on for countless millennia at this point. Now, one angel known as Inarius of the high heavens, he, after endless years, millennia, thousands of years of fighting this endless war, has finally become tired and very regressed of this very horrific process cycle of constant rebirth, going to war, dying, then rebirth, going to war and dying. And he wants an escape from this very horrific reality, kind of like he exists in the Warhammer universe, just saying. So it just so happens that at one of these conflicts, he finds himself pretty much wounded and marooned at a place called the Pandemonium Fortress, which exists somewhere in the reality of the Diablo universe. And this fortress actually houses the entire World Stone itself. Most of the wars the High Heavens and Burning Hells fight is to fight for the possession of this particular fortress because it has the World Stone. Inarius, wounded and marooned on this fortress, finds himself questioning the eternal conflict, and after coming to a decision, pulls some string and actually gets in contact with Lilith, this young lady, very pretty looking lady right here, who is supposed to be the daughter of Mephisto. Mephisto is the lord of the burning hells and is the prime of the three evils, and he's the most powerful of them all, and Lilith is her daughter. When these two meet up, Inarius expresses his wish of finding a place where they can live in peace and harmony, and Lilith decides to go along with his plan because she has been looking for an opportunity to take revenge on her father, who has been treating her very badly for the past million years or so. She's kind of like an angsty teenager at this point, and she wants to get back at him, I should say. So she decides to help Inarius, and they both put their plan in motion to find a place where they can live in peace and harmony. Eventually, Lilith and Inarius are able to find demons and angels that are of like mind, who also are tired of the eternal conflict and just want to escape their horrific reality. As their numbers grow, Lilith and Inarius eventually fall in love, and from these two come the first humans. They are the progenitors of the entire human race. With their numbers grown, and now also with the responsibility of their offspring, they decide that yes, it is time that they find some place where they can just be at peace and escape this endless war. And to do this, they decide to look for a place. Now, it is never explicitly stated in the Book of Cain or any of the extended lore of the Diablo universe that whether the angels and demons create the world of Sanctuary, like basically making a planet, or they just happen to find it out there in the universe somewhere. Suffice it to say, they do locate a special place which they can basically call home, and they go to that place to settle down with their children, where they can live in peace. But before they go there, they decide to do one thing that will ensure their safety from the burning hells and the high heavens, and the vengeance that will eventually come when they find out what these group of rebel angels and demons have done. They decide to steal the World Stone.
What? What the fuck?
So yes, things grow from zero to what the fuck instantly, but they are successful in their plan, and the angels and demons under the leadership of Inarius and Lilith, they are able to take the World Stone and run off with it to the world of Sanctuary, and using its power, they are able to hide that entire new realm from the gazes of the high heavens and the burning hells, so that they can find out where they are, where the World Stone went. And in their mind, they do this because they think if the World Stone is no longer a part of the conflict, maybe the conflict will finally end because there will be no more reason to fight each other. Yeah, that's pretty much wishful thinking. Also, they use the World Stone as a bargaining chip, that if they decide to attack Sanctuary and destroy the angel, demons, and humans, they might have a bargaining chip that if you harm us, we're gonna harm the World Stone and everything is gonna get messed up. So they pretty much make that plan, they are successful in the plan, and they settle down in the world which they name Sanctuary for obvious reasons, and continue to live their lives. As the centuries pass, everything goes well until the day the demons and angels both realize that yes, the humans, because they are the offsprings of both of these creatures, they are becoming too much powerful. They are getting more powerful even than the angels and demons, their own parents themselves. And this becomes a concern for both of these races. They think that if the humans become too much powerful, they won't be able to control them, and eventually they might rise up as a third faction, and it would be bad for the universe all around. And obviously, if such a powerful faction rises up, there is no way that the burning hells and the high heavens will not notice demographic of power. So they decide to do something about it. Again, it goes from zero to what the fuck in an instant. The angels and demons come to a conclusion that it is best that they kill off the entire human race, their own children, just to keep the entire universe safe. Only Inarius himself is the one who says to show some constraint. He says just take a breather, step back, let's think about this. It's not something that we can actually do. These are our kids, come on, man. But unfortunately for Inarius and all of the angels and demons involved in this plot, when word reaches to Lilith, who is basically the progenitor of the human race, every human is basically her child, she goes into a rampage, transforms into a behemoth of a horrific creature, and goes on a massacre of the entire sanctuary planet, where she kills off every angel and demon that she can find just to save and protect the humans who she considers her own children. After the massacre has been done, Inarius is furious with his waifu Lilith, and he banishes her. And after she is gone, he himself is grief-stricken of all the things that have happened. His dream has been shattered. There is no hope left for him. So he decides to take a step back from humankind himself and just fades into legend and decides to just observe his children from afar in secrecy. As the centuries roll by, Inarius just wanders the earth in depression and grief until finally he begins to realize that yes, humans have become too much powerful, and because of the wars that the humans are fighting between themselves at this point, he does think that it is time that he comes back and does something about this, because if nothing is done, humans are gonna destroy each other, and there is no way that the high heavens and burning hells would not notice such an output of power if he doesn't do something. Now, over here, the story expands into multiple different directions where many characters are involved, and the Sin War trilogy happens, big wars happens, and everything there. All we need to know is that when Inarius returns to human lands and finds out humanity, he tries to guide them, but he finds out that there's already an established religion in the human world that is run by something called the Triune. It's a cabal kind of thing. And to cut the long story short, Lilith is behind it, and she would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for that pesky Inarius and a human Nephilim called Uldisian, who is very powerful even among these powerful humans who have these unnatural angelic and demonic powers. So in the end, Inarius and Uldisian are able to combine their might and banish Lilith again, destroying the Triune and setting humanity free, but at the cost of Uldisian finally admitting that yes, angels and demons have no place on the world of sanctuary and in the affairs of men and humans. So he asks Inarius that you need to leave also, because you guys don't belong here. Now Inarius doesn't take that well, because he is the progenitor of the human race and he is the one who basically built sanctuary with Lilith and everything. He gets into a conflict with Uldisian, but because Uldisian has become so powerful as a human, he is able to best Inarius. And during their conflict, the energy that is output by both of these very deity type, Goku level fighters fighting in the universe, it immediately sets alarm bells in the high heavens and the burning hells. Now it just so happens that the burning hells had already been aware of the existence of sanctuary and human beings, because the Triune that had been established after Inarius had left, they had been into some weird occultist demon worship stuff. So they're demons, so they had been binding their time and stuff. But when the high heavens become aware of sanctuary and the human race, they think that this is an abomination and they hate it, so they decide to destroy it. But Tyrael, the angel of justice, he convinces the Angeris Council, the council of the 5 most powerful angels of the high heavens, to actually come down to a vote and decide what to do with the humans. In the end, it is only Tyrael's vote that saves the entire humanity from extinction at the hands of the high heavens. Once that has been established, the high heavens gets into a pact with the burning hells, and they say that not even the high heavens nor the burning hells, they will not interfere in the world of man, and they just leave them to their own devices and leave them to this own world. We should not interfere with these new creatures that have come by the union of angels and demons, because these are abomination, racist bastards. Basically, that's what the high heavens in the Diablo universe are. And the demons agreed to it. The primary was Diablo, Baal, Mephisto. Say, okay man, we're done with that. Our only condition is you hand over Inarius to us. Mephisto has a grudge against Inarius, not only because he took his daughter, eloped with her to another place, but he is just a all-around good guy, and he just wants to torment and torture Inarius for the rest of time. So yeah, the high heavens, they're like, oh, yeah man, you can take this bastard, we don't like him, he's the one who's responsible for all of this. So they gave off Inarius to the burning hells, where he is until at least to this day. He was there chained up, being tormented, tortured, mutilated by Mephisto and the burning hells at large. Now this is where basically the backstory of Inarius and Lilith ends. Obviously there is some conflict between these two, but let's not forget that these two was basically lovers at one point, and maybe they still are. This is just a small lovers quarrel, nothing a lawyer can sit down and iron out. But I'm very excited to see where the story actually goes from here, because like I mentioned earlier in the video, at the start of the video, Inarius was supposed to be imprisoned in hell, being tortured by over countless millennia. I just want to know why he is still in his angelic form and not corrupted, like another angel who was tortured in hell was corrupted. So yeah, like I said, I'm very excited for Diablo 4 now, because the direction this story is going, it can go anywhere, and I just hope that the trailer that we saw, it is not something set in the past, but it is actually something set in this time in the future, and we actually see Inarius come back and go up against Lilith, and maybe we can get some kind of closure to the story of these two. Not everything has to be a fight between good and evil. Always, I just like stories that have gray areas. Maybe these two can come to conclusion together. With that said, tell me what you all thought about the Diablo 4 trailer reveal. We finally have a set release date, and I'm very excited to get into it. Until next time, stay safe, stay cool. Peace out.